Welcome back to Pokemon FireRed. I've got my copy. My team is healed up. I never showed off what their stats are. I should probably do that. Without hitting the yellow R button. I'll actually stay on these screens for at least a little bit of time apiece. If I do go too fast, I'm sorry about that. But this is the team I'm going to try and stick with. Something I failed to mention last episode is if I am unable to get through even the first trainer in the Elite Four for whatever reason, it's back to Victory Road for me! That does not sound like fun, but at least you'll be spared the pain and suffering of having to grind. Anyway, thanks, ma'am. Lorelei. Oh, Lorelei. Lorelei. Lorelei and her damn dugong. Caused me so much heartache when I was a kid. Luckily, I've got Adam McSix up front. Luckily, I can shock the living crap out of the dugong. I forgot that the Elite Four likes to have items, because that's how the good trainers in this game fight. The jerks. Alright, I need to look. What else is super effective against ice? I'm looking at my chart again. Ice is super effective against flying is the thing, so I don't want to send out Gargoyle. It's also apparently super effective against ground, so this is Rossetti might be out. Dollar coin, it's up to you. I was expecting a full restore. Legitimately, I was expecting a full restore. Okay, Cloyster. Okay. You do that. Have a Toxic. I think she likes it. So, a bit of a fun fact, I'd probably mentioned this in a much earlier episode, but yeah, my very first playthrough, I just mainly relied on my, at this point, Charizard to get through the game, with little less support from any other Pokemon. It was at this point which I realized that was a mistake. Not because Charizard had difficulties getting through this. Oh no, my Charizard at that time was kind of over level. But I also didn't have very many healing items to go around. So yeah, I ended up abandoning that playthrough. The hill's continuing to fall. Let's see. Yeah, I'll bring out the pineapple. Because I want to have as few fainted Pokemon as possible. Alright, you're weak to Ice Beam. The Beam of Ice and Pain. And Blistering Cold. And it's time to Giga Drain! Not as helpful as I would have hoped. Oh. Well, this is City. Why not? Jinx! Have an earthquake! Everyone's favorite ground move! Maybe, I have no idea if that's true. That was a powerful ice punch. You could probably see why I'm not too horribly concerned about you, jerk. Why I'm not so horribly worried about my Pokemon fainting as of yeah, yikes. I was thinking I would have done more. Actually, I'm just gonna send you out. Because Girls, I got several moves. Dragon's not gonna be effective. Very effective against you. Rock is. Yeah, Rock is. What about flying? What's the flying help? No, not likely. Let's use Ancient Power. Let's see what happens. Still looking at my chart here. Well, that worked out. Go Gargoyle. And Lapras. Ooh, boy. Fight the Lapras? I don't think I'm ready for this. The girl survived. Good job. Well. I am not prepared. And of course, War's not going to be very effective against you. Oh, okay! Okay, that's why! Leave it to me to help you out. Of course, of course. I'm not even all that mad about that, honestly. I'm more amused. But I'm thinking that I'm going to need all my Pokemon to be no less than level 50 before trying this again. Thankfully, I don't have to run very far between Victory Road and Indigo Plateau for once. I am going to try and finish this out. How is Ice Beam not very effective? I'm not surprised to see myself frozen, though. I'm surprised to see Sprite be defrosted so quickly, though. I'm not surprised to see you paralyzed. And you've got a berry. Well. Oh gee, I lost 184. That's not much. Thank you. I have no money to my name. That's amazing. Kind of funny. As I said, money is not much of a problem anymore. Okay, hasn't been for a while, but really, hey, I've got payday, but for anyone who does not, you're at the point where you can just grind. So I can just run around in this area and just fight. Yeah, sure, why not? The Machops. I'm sure I'll be finding Machops and Onyxes and Machokes and Zubats, Golbats. Sorry, not Crobats. So yeah, I'm back to this silliness. I have no idea how long this is gonna take me. Hopefully a little less time than, say, 35 days. Give or take. Though, to be fair, during my stint of uploading Mouse PI for Hire, I haven't recorded anything. There's like, yes, I have a few reasons for that, if I'm to be honest. Last episode, when I mentioned that when I was at a hotel and used their fitness center, working on a treadmill. That's usually when I would be on a business trip. Oh, thank you. And it was usually in, well, I'd say usually in periods of inclement weather, but the weather wasn't exactly friendly in the place that I was at, but that's not important right now. I can still edit and upload, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm making the gamble here. There was also a few other games I wanted to play besides this. And yes, Splatoon 3 is absolutely one of them. Yeah, at least for the foreseeable future, that's going to be a thing. Looking forward to Raiders, though. So much so that I've avoided... well, other than the very first announcement some time ago, I've done what I can to avoid any information on the game like the plague. I say that for any game I want to avoid spoilers for. But the point stands, I want to go into a new game knowing as little about that game as I possibly can. This is because I find that I enjoy a game more if I learn about the game as I'm playing it. In most cases, I've likely said before on this channel. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Splatoon Raiders. Splatoon 3 is still going to be in my usual rotation of games. Although I think, no, really. So I think these days I'll probably be crawling back on X battles assuming I qualify for those. Probably just stick to Anarchy, at least for the most part. Simply put, between work, school, and other games I want to play, I just don't have the time to really commit to really get better at Splatoon. I want to. Okay, park ground. Okay, you self-destruct. Sure. At least Sam survived. Yeah, I'll just keep up front. Okay. Sure. But one of the reasons why I'm partially kicking myself for not knocking out of school much earlier as a young adult is because I did not exactly have the foresight to foresee that there'd be a game series I would fall in love with. And of course, Mrs. Ray is the one that's paralyzed, of course. If you are a young adult and you're able to pursue college reasonably, I say go for it. Don't burn yourself out trying to get through it, though. That's the main thing I can say. Okay. I'm just gonna run back to the Pokemon Center anyways, so. Yeah, I also had a lot more time as a younger adult. Nowhere near as much responsibility as I have now. Yeah, sure, I'll give you a bite. I probably should have used Payday as well, but oh well. Hey, dollar coins 50. So even if I did knock out college much earlier, I'm not entirely certain I'd be able to pour as much time into Splatoon as I want to. Although in that specific theoretical scenario, I think recording might have a thing to do with that. Speaking of, I've actually been going to try to do something for a bit. By the time this episode goes up, I'll try this, but I actually want to try dual streaming between both YouTube and Twitch. Let's see if this works out. I've actually got an add-on for OBS that allows me to do so. I just haven't tried testing it out yet. Keyword yet. I'm going to. Again, hopefully before this episode goes up. We'll see how that turns out. But I'm already thinking that if I do decide to do the dual streaming, or it'd be called multi-stream. Yeah, it would be called multi-streaming. If I do decide to do the multi-streaming, the days in which I do plan on streaming, I probably won't have a video for YouTube. That might save me a bit of time. Although that is mainly me thinking out loud. I am 99% certain, however, that I've got everything set up as I need it to be set up. It's one of those situations which time will tell. I am out of coffee. I am admittedly uncertain what all I could accomplish with the multi-streaming. But that's fairly be something neat to play with, assuming it works out. That is a big assumption, I will admit. Yay! Less chance of self-destruct. Yeah, that's all I really had to say, admittedly. Now I'll finish up this fight, and then save, and do something else for a bit. Actually, I will say that when I was training on and off before finally getting through Victory Road, I was under the restriction of having to have Arctic Surf with me, so that meant that I'd always have to have a permanent team member in the box, just chilling. That's why Adam McSix is currently the lowest level party member. Thankfully, since I've crossed off Victory Road and finally made it to the Indigo Plateau, and I only have to navigate through a very small, simple-ish maze, I don't have to worry about keeping an HM user with me. Thank goodness, I say. It'll make training a little bit more pleasant. Now that Adam McSix is 49. So, a shortish episode, especially compared to the last one, but that's it for this one. Join me next time when I inevitably try again with a stronger team, if things go well. My name is FireRed, and I thank you for your time.